What is going on, Yankees fans? Back at it with another New York Yankees video, and this is going to be a video about what Brian Cashman and the New York Yankees should do at the trade deadline, which is almost, 7-8 days away. It's crazy that the season, just started, and the trade deadline is almost here, and it's about, I think August 31st is the deadline. It's usually on July 31st. Obviously, with the delay of the 2020 season, it has been delayed to August 31st, so Yankees have a lot of stuff to do. Yankees have a lot of stuff to do, as I think the Yankees what they need is another starting pitcher. I think another reliever would be nice. We have the injury of Zach Britton. We have Tommy Kahnle out for the season. I think if we added another reliever to kind of boost the bullpen, I think that'd be very important to this team. We also need another starting pitcher, in my opinion, or maybe another, kind of bench bat, scrappy bench bat kind of player. I wouldn't mind that as well. So there's a lot of options out there. There's a lot of they can definitely make a trade. They've made a lot of trades, at the deadline. Back in 2017, they traded a couple prospects to get Todd Frazier. They got David Robertson. They also got Tommy Kahnle in a deal with the White Sox back in 2017, and Todd Frazier was a big piece to this team. Now, I'm not saying go out and sign Todd Frazier. Todd Frazier is, 34, 35 years old. I definitely don't want a guy like Todd Frazier right now. Plus, he's a third baseman. We got Urshela, and we also got Andujar to play third base. A third baseman isn't really our need right now, and I know he could play first, but we also had we have Luke Voigt and Mike Ford to play first, so I really don't think a third baseman or a first baseman is something we need right now. I think we need more like a middle infielder, like a second baseman or a shortstop, because guys like Estrada or Tyler Wade, I don't really see them as starting players, so I feel like we need kind of like a shortstop, second baseman kind of guy to fill in the injuries, to fill in for DJ LeMahieu and Gleyber Torres, and they could be out for a decent amount of time. So there's a lot of guys that maybe I wouldn't mind trading for, or also guys that maybe we could sign for like a free agent deal or something like that. So guys I wouldn't mind. Scrappy kind of players. Guys like, who gets on base. They're pests. Tough players to get out. Don't strike out. They're contact kind of players. One guy like I wouldn't mind is Joe Panik from the Blue Jays. Maybe we make a trade with the Blue Jays to get Joe Panik. I mean, he doesn't really have a spot there. With guys like, we have guys like Vlad, and you have guys like Bo Bichette and Kevin Biggio who can play the infield. I feel like the Blue Jays don't really need Joe Panik. He's more of a bench bat kind of guy. He's not a guy I wouldn't mind picking up from the Blue Jays. Eric Sogard from the Brewers. He's a pesky kind of 300 hitter kind of player. He's a nice contact player, has got speed, plays solid defense on the field. Eric Sogard from the Brewers. The Brewers aren't really in a great spot right now. We'll see if they'll be sellers at the deadline or buyers, but I think they could be sellers for Eric Sogard, and I wouldn't mind if the Yankees went out and picked him up. Any kind of pesky kind of bench bat, maybe Kevin Pillar from the Red Sox. I wouldn't mind him, even though he's an outfielder. Why not get another outfielder? We already have Tauchman, Frazier, and Hicks. We have Judge out. Even though he'll be back, we still have Giancarlo Stanton out, so I wouldn't mind getting another outfielder. Maybe a guy like Kevin Pillar from the Red Sox. The Red Sox are not going to be buyers, that's for sure, so maybe we can get a guy like Kevin Pillar. There's probably ton more outfielders out there that we could go out and shop, but those are just guys that came to mind that I wouldn't mind bringing over. But I think what's more important right now is pitching. Now, I'm not saying we go out and get, like, a Kershaw or DeGrom, because we're not going to. Or, like, Syndergaard, he's hurt. But, I'm not saying go out and get a big name. I'm saying go out and get a guy, maybe from, like, a team that's not doing great right now, from, like, Pittsburgh. Well, I'm not saying, like, that actual team, but a team that's not really in a great spot to win right now. The Yankees should go out and look for a pitcher like that. The first guy that comes to mind is Matthew Boyd. Now, I'm not a big believer in Matthew Boyd, and he's off to a really rough start with Detroit. He really wasn't as good as I thought he was last year, had a very high ERA, struggled with the long ball, and that's pitching in Detroit, which is a pitcher's ballpark. But Matthew Boyd's been a guy that's been swirling around the Yankees. He's been in a lot of trade rumors with the Yankees for a very, very long time. I wouldn't give up like a Gleyber Torres or a Deivi Garcia for a guy like Matthew Boyd. I feel like he isn't that good of a pitcher as we think he is, but he's still very solid. He's very good stuff, but I don't think Matthew Boyd is an elite pitcher, but I feel like he could be solid to kind of fill in the injury with James Paxton, because Paxton might not be, he could be out on the IL for a very long time. So a guy like Matthew Boyd, I would not mind bringing over, for a very cheap price. Not for like a Deivi Garcia, or not for like an Estevan Florial, or not for Gleyber Torres, or anything like that. For a cheaper price, I would not mind signing Matthew Boyd for a back end of the rotation kind of guy. We also have Robbie Ray from the Diamondbacks. Robbie Ray was another guy that the Yankees also wanted to get last year, but the Diamondbacks asked for a lot. They asked for a boatload of players for Robbie Ray, and we're like, we're not giving up, Gleyber Torres or any guys like that, or whoever they asked for, Clint Frazier, for Robbie Ray. Robbie Ray's a number 2, number 3 kind of starter. He has good stuff. He's okay. I mean, he's not off to a great start this year, but I do think Robbie Ray could be a solid piece to this rotation. I feel like he could be better, like an upgrade from like J Happ and Montgomery and Paxton, because J Happ isn't really a great pitcher. Jordan Montgomery, not really a great pitcher. Neither is Paxton. So I feel like a guy like Robbie Ray, I would not mind bringing him in. I don't really care who we get at this point. I really just want another starting pitcher. I would not mind Robbie Ray. If it's for a cheap price, I would not mind bringing Robbie Ray in, but if it's for like a Gleyber Torres or Clint Frazier, definitely not. But if it's for a cheap price, I would not mind if Brian Cashman went out and traded for Robbie Ray. Another guy, Johnny Cueto from the Giants. Now, Johnny Cueto has had a ton of injuries the past couple of years. I don't even think he pitched last year due to Tommy John, but I would not mind if we brought in Johnny Cueto. He's been a very solid pitcher throughout his career. If he could stay healthy, Johnny Cueto can be a very solid piece for this team. Obviously, Johnny Cueto has been a Cy Young winner in his career. He used to be on the Reds. He was very good with the Reds. Now he's on the Giants now. And Johnny Cueto has been a very solid pitcher throughout his career. If Johnny Cueto can stay healthy, he can be a very, very solid pitcher. I'm a big believer in Johnny Cueto. I still think he's got pitches left in the tank. I still think Cueto's pretty solid, and I wouldn't mind if the Yankees brought him over for a cheap price. If it wasn't for too expensive. Anybody like Frazier, Gleyber. I'm not giving away Clint. I'm not giving away Gleyber. But if we gave away like a cheap price, not a lot of big players, I would not mind if we brought in Johnny Cueto. He's a very solid pitcher. The Giants are a team. They're in the rebuilding phase. They're not a team that's really ready to win right now. I would not mind if we brought in Johnny Cueto. We definitely would not mind that at all. Probably one of the best pitchers in baseball this year, Trevor Bauer. He is off to a fantastic start with the Reds. Even though he's kind of a polarizing guy, I would not mind if we brought in Trevor Bauer. Trevor Bauer is off to a phenomenal start with the Reds. Has an ERA under 1, and the Reds are a team not playing great baseball right now. Although I do think the Reds have a solid team, they're not really playing great baseball right now. Maybe the Reds are sellers. Maybe they want to get rid of Trevor Bauer to get hitters or something like that, or bullpen or something like that. We should go after Trevor Bauer. He has a .64 ERA. Trevor Bauer could be a huge acquisition for this team. I would not mind if we brought in Trevor Bauer. He's a very good pitcher. He has great stuff, great slider, great sinker. Even though he might not be able to pitch in New York because he's kind of a polarizing guy, he might not do well with the media, I still think Trevor Bauer is a great pitcher. He's off to a great start this year. He's been one of the best pitchers in baseball this year. I would not mind. I would actually love it if the Yankees went out and signed Trevor Bauer. Maybe if we gave away like a Miguel Andujar or a Clint Frazier. It hurt, but I feel like it's worth it. We need pitching desperately. Trevor Bauer would be a guy I would not mind if we brought in. I'd actually love it if we brought in Trevor Bauer this deadline. Bullpen. We need bullpen. Now, we don't need a big-name guy. We don't need a Josh Hader. We really don't. We don't need to look for a big-name bullpen kind of guy. We can look for maybe kind of names you haven't really heard of but have really good stuff. Guys like Tony Watson. Watson's been a reliever with the Pirates and the Giants. I think he's also spent some time with the Astros, I believe. Or maybe it might be the Dodgers. I don't remember. But Watson has been a very solid reliever throughout his career. There's also guys like Greg Holland. Greg Holland's been around for a long time. He's been with, I believe, the Diamondbacks. I believe he's now in the Royals. Holland's been a pretty solid reliever throughout his career. I would not mind if we brought him in. There's a lot of other relievers that I don't know the name of right now that maybe we could bring into the Yankees because we have our bullpen. Avion's hurt. Britton's hurt. Canley's out for the year. I think the Yankees need to go out and grab another bullpen piece, and maybe we could have the best bullpen in baseball if we go out and sign another reliever. Maybe a guy like Watson or, Greg Holland. Those are guys I've heard of, in like MLB trade rumors that I've heard that maybe the Yankees could go after this deadline. But that's just a couple names. There probably is a lot of other relievers out there, but those are the two guys I have in mind that maybe we could add to this New York Yankees bullpen. So that's kind of going to do it for the pitchers. Is there any hitters we could go after? I named a couple guys: Joe Panic, Eric Sogard. They're not going to cost a lot. They'd be very cheap. Guys like Joe Panic, guys like Eric Sogard, Kevin Pillar, I wouldn't mind. Any like pesky kind of bench bat kind of guy, a scrappy player, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind bringing over to this team because the Yankees are so injury. They're filled with injuries right now. So I would not mind if the Yankees brought over a guy like that to this team to be a kind of contact, bottom of the order contact, pesky kind of hitter. I would not mind if the Yankees did that. So that's going to do it for this video. If you're a Yankees fan, what do you think the Yankees should do at the deadline? Do you think they should stand pat? Do you think they should go out and sign someone? I do think the Yankees should be buyers and go out and sign a pitcher, a reliever, or maybe the Yankees should go out and sign a bench bat kind of player. So that's going to do it for this video. What do you think the Yankees should do? Put it down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace. Let's go, Yankees.